What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So good to have you here. This week, we got a lot to discuss. We got some Fast and the Furious news, some Ghostbuster news, some Star Trek news, some Fear Street news. And yeah, let's dive right into it. The Zone News. Let's go. Okay, y'all. So we got a lot to cover. We had a lot of stuff happening this week. Some you probably already knew, but I'm gonna stick to doing these weekly, of course, until I'm able to do it whenever there's updates. But that leads me to this next piece here, which is I need your help. Uh, if you like the content, do me a favor, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That is, of course, our next goal, and then we'll have another goal after that. But you know, we're having fun. I'm having fun doing this. I'm having fun with you all, and I want to be able to put a little more time into this. In order to do that, I need your help subscribing. So hit that subscribe button and share with others. Okay, so according to the Hollywood Reporter, there is a new Star Trek movie in the works at Paramount. But the reason why I'm hype about this, of course, I'm hype because of Star Trek. Uh, I'm a Star Trek fan of the TV shows, the movies, Next Generation, and I like the J.J. Abrams films. The last one was okay, but it wasn't bad. The third one, and they have been talking about making a new one of those, but apparently, uh, J.J. Abrams production company is doing another one. But what has me excited about this is uh, it's going to be directed by one of the Andor directors. Now, if you haven't watched Andor, that's probably the best thing Star Wars has out in a while. Great series, freaking awesome. So when I saw this, I was like, okay. So according to the report, the article says after years of stops and starts, Paramount is making a step toward returning Star Trek to the big screen. Toby Haynes, who directed episodes of the Star Wars series Andor, will helm a new feature with Seth Graham Smith writing. And the plot is said to take place decades before the events of 2009 Star Trek, which J.J. Abrams helmed. And J.J. Abrams' company Bad Robot will produce this movie. And the studio is describing as an expansion of its Trek universe. So if it's gonna go the route of expanding the universe, then I like that it's a prequel because um, it gives them the space to create new characters and timelines and stories without having to be tied to J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek movie. Um, and this article goes on to talk about all the different scenarios we ran into when they were trying to plan a new Star Trek film. But that Paramount still plans on a sequel to the J.J. Abrams film. So the last one. So we're gonna essentially get two Star Trek movies, one being a prequel to the 2009 movie, and then hopefully finally getting the Star Trek 4 with Chris Pine, excuse me, and that whole crew. So, what do y'all think? I'm looking forward to it. I like I said, I like the J.J. Abrams films. The third one was the least favorite out of three. And I like the idea of a prequel where they can kind of expand the Star Trek universe and go different areas outside of Captain Kirk. Do me a favor, leave your thoughts and comments below. Okay, so Netflix Fear Street Prom Queen. So uh Fear Street is, of course, based on the books from R.L. Stein, and Netflix's Fear Street Prom Queen will adapt R.L. Stein's 15th book in the series. Now, this is coming from comingsoon.net. Netflix's fourth Fear Street movie will adapt Fear Street the Prom Queen as a standalone story that goes into pre production this month. Uh, According to the article, it says after acquiring the Fear Street trilogy from the now defunct 20th Century Fox and witnessing the success it had, Netflix always seemed likely to make more, but rather than telling a continuation of the trilogy, this is more of a standalone piece focused on one story rather than collecting and missing aspects from multiple tales. And then the article goes on to talk about the director who has also confirmed that this is a standalone piece. Um, and as I mentioned in previous episodes, I used to read R.L. Stein all the time, and of course, R.L. Stein also created Goosebumps, which has seen uh, different adaptations. I believe Disney Plus actually had a show that was Goosebumps last year. So I liked R.L. Stein and his stuff uh, and the Goosebumps stuff. I've read them, and so Netflix is now doing the prom queen, and the plot goes as follows: Dance of Death, a spring night, soft moonlight, five beautiful prom queen candidates. I'm putting on my trailer voice. Dancing couples at the shady side high prom. These should be the ingredients for romance. But stir in one brutal murder, then another, and another. And the receipt, I said receipt, sorry. And the recipe quickly turns to horror. Lizzie McVeigh realizes that someone is murdering the five prom queen candidates one by one, and that she may be next on the list. Can she stop the murderer before the dance is over for good? But anyways, so this is R.L. Stein, and I've read him. Holy moly, 150 entries. R.L. Stein I read, and I think I told y'all before. Christopher Pike was another one I used to read. But interesting news. I'm not gonna lie, I did not read the prom queen, or at least I don't think I did. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, there you have it. Prom queen, Netflix, R.L. Stein, coming soon to a theater near you. Sorry,
Bruh.
not enough coffee yet. Okay, so anytime there's Ghostbuster news, you're gonna get my attention. And I was checking out superherohype.com and saw this article. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire will be more connected to the original movies than Afterlife. Okay, let's just stop right there. Afterlife was a great sequel. Um, what a way to bring us back into the world of Ghostbusters. There was just enough fan service and um, memories and callbacks to the originals that while adding new characters and new things that it was extremely enjoyable. So now the director Gil Keenan, let's just read what he says. So director Gil Keenan says the new movie will be more connected to the original two Ghostbusters than Ghostbusters Afterlife was. Speaking with Empire Magazine, Keenan discussed how he approached directing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and how it shares a connection with 1984's Ghostbusters and 1989's Ghostbusters 2. He goes on to say, not a day went by when I didn't ask myself, how would Ivan Reitman, who of course directed Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, handle this? I wanted the same approach to the character, comedy, and scares he had on the first two Ghostbusters. this one feels more connected to those movies than Afterlife was. So it sounds like um, Keenan, the director, is going for the same um, uh, uh, character personality vibe of the first two Ghostbusters while continuing the story. And if that is the case, let's go. Let's go. Because Afterlife was great. Afterlife was great, but if you're still trying, if you're trying to bring it back to what made one and two special and go along that vein, I'm with it. Because Ghostbusters one and two was a comedy. There was still scares though to it, um, but it was fun, and you're invested in the characters, and there is a little bit of a fear element to it as well. So bravo. Now the article goes on to talk about Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson's characters and what's happening with them. But I'm not going to get into that because we can see that. You all can check it out. But Ghostbusters Frozen Empire releases March 22nd, 2024. What do y'all think of this news? The fact that the director is saying this will be more connected to the original movies, even in Afterlife. Does that make you even more excited for the movie? Because it definitely did for me. As you all know, I was already excited to see this movie. It's one of my most anticipated movies of 2024. And now I'm just even more anticipated or whatever. Do
Bruh.
me a favor, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Love to hear what you think. Okay, so according to comingsoon.net, Fast 11 will go back to basics and could introduce a new villain. Now, as you all know, Fast 10 ended in a cliffhanger with Dante pretty much appearing like he killed everybody, right? Oh, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it. Dante, I think was his name, um, Jason Momoa's character. That's pretty much how 10 ended. But let's read this article. So, though the most recent Fast and Furious movie ended on a cliffhanger with the villain at large, Fast 11 could be bringing in another new antagonist as it goes back to basics. So, Jeff Snyder at the N. Snyder reported that the franchise is going to go back to basics and is aiming to be lean and mean, with budgets being trimmed a fair bit. Snyder's source says Fast 11 will have a budget of 200 million or less and will apparently be a throwback to the first film, with the team going to less major locations as being more focused on one big heist or race. All right, so let's pause right there for a second. So first off, if this is what's happening, good for them, because the Fast and Furious movies make money, but they have slowly been making less, but they still do well. However, because of the big budgets that they have, they aren't doing well from a revenue standpoint that the studios will like, because they spend so much money making them, right? So, you get a Fast and Furious movie that makes $500 million, but it costs, $450 million to make. That didn't make a lot of money. So I like the idea that they're trimming the fat, getting back to the basics, making it about what Fast and Furious was about, which is race, heist, cars, and family. Because it's all about family. um, so I think it's a good idea. I think Fast and the Furious has gone way far from what made it good, but I've enjoyed what they became, but at the same time, I can see the need for going back, because I wanted it to stop after 10. Like, going into 10, I was hoping it was a wrap, but it wasn't. And I was just like, why? You know what I mean? Because it just kept getting bigger and bigger and dumber and dumber. So um, I was hoping that they would wrap it up there, but they didn't. And so now it seems like they're going to go back to basics. But let's keep reading, because here's where it gets interesting. It says, despite Vin Diesel's recent accusation, a battery accusation. He's currently still signed on to be the star, and it will likely be his character's one last job movie. But check this out. Finally, Snyder says that if Fast 11 does indeed prove to be the final entry in the series, Universal may not have Jason Momoa's Dante Reyes as the primary villain, instead opting to introduce a new one.
Bruh.
So you end on a cliffhanger with this guy. You even bring The Rock back in a uh, um, credit scene, and now you're saying that you might end up just going a new direction with a different antagonist. So what happens to Dante? Will this new person work with Dante, or will you just get rid of Dante altogether? Because it says as the primary villain, so maybe he's there, but he's like quickly disposed of to bring on this new person. That just seems weird to me. Just in these freaking movies, like you got Jason Momoa, go simple in the movie, Vin Diesel, one last ride. It's all about family in scene. Roll credits. Good lord, why are you introducing new people if you're trying to end the series? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they'll partner up and I mean, I guess if it makes sense, maybe it's somebody from their past, like every last one of these movies have been. Um, I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm. This is kind of it's weird to me that they would bring in someone new to wrap this thing up. But do me a favor, leave your thoughts and comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, everybody. And lastly, this is some really cool news. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there are some reports or rumors that potentially we wouldn't get to see Foggy and Karen in the new Netflix series, the Daredevil series. But according to this article on comingsoon.net, they are making a return. So let's look. So says it's no secret that Daredevil Born Again is going in a new creative direction, right? Everybody knows that they stopped what they were doing and said, nope, this isn't good. And so they are starting over. But according to a new report, the show will feature the return of Deborah Ann Wall and Eldon Henson as Karen Page and Foggy Nelson, respectively. Respect, respectively. According to the In Schneider, both actors from the previous Daredevil Netflix show will return as their fan favorite characters. The news comes just days after the Netflix shows were confirmed as MCU canon on Disney Plus's MCU timeline. If you haven't noticed on Disney Plus, they added those shows as to where they fell into the MCU's timeline, which is pretty cool. The report doesn't know how much each actor will appear in the reworked series. It could just be an episode, but considering they originally weren't supposed to appear at all, this is a significant improvement. So there you have it. Foggy and Karen will be back because, like the report says, everyone was saying that they're not going to be in the show. So that's cool. That's good. That's good that the MCU is not only including those shows in their timeline, so they're canon, but they're for consistency, they're bringing those characters back. So I like that news. I'm excited about that. Good. All right, everybody. So that's the news for this week. We had some exciting stuff going on, and looking forward to next week's news. Do me a favor, if you like the content, click that like button and subscribe. Trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. Help me reach my goal. Until the next one. Peace.